Do you know why this isn't the best thing to wear when riding an electric scooter? Do you know why this isn't the best thing to wear either when riding an electric scooter? I'm quite sure that you don't. But if you stick around to the end, not only will you know why, but you'll have a better plan. Also, I'm going to give you a downloadable summary of all this content and a shopper's guide designed just for you to make the best decisions. Who am I? I am Dr. Venk, an emergency physician at Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, a husband and a father to three incredible kids, and we are going to talk about electric scooters. Electric scooters are pretty amazing devices. They're very maneuverable and accessible to a large segment of the population. They're cheaper to own and operate than a motor vehicle in most cities, and they're frankly a lot of fun. This video is not going to be me telling you not to use them. In fact, you should know, I use them frequently, and I would love to maybe own my own electric scooter someday. Yet, if you use it improperly or you're not protected properly, electric scooters are quite dangerous. I was working overnight in the emergency department a couple years ago, and my pager went off, alerting me that our ambulances were going to bring in a severely injured 15-year-old boy after a scooter accident. When I saw this young man, I was really not sure he was going to survive. He wasn't hit by a car or anything. It was just him, and he crashed his scooter on a curb. He had broken his skull many places, broken his face, and had very dangerous bleeding around his brain. As the night unfolded, I remember his mother sobbing and yelling at me. How could this happen? No one told me this could happen. Her whole world, his whole life, was crashing because of an electric scooter. And as a parent, and truly as a human, my heart breaks even now for them and their whole community. That night, I decided to create this video and others like it to help share what I know with anyone who will listen, because I don't want this to happen to you or your loved ones. People coming to the ED with scooter-related injuries have head injuries between 25 and 35% of the time. That means up to 1 in 3 severe facial fractures, skull fractures, and bleeding around or within the brain occur in roughly 10% of these people. Of course, these are the truly horrible injuries. Yet keep in mind, even with injuries that are less severe, a large portion of people leave the ED with concussions that can cause lingering problems, headaches, nausea, personality changes, problems concentrating, and much more. These patterns mirror data from other countries as well. New Zealand, Poland, France, Belgium, and other countries are all seeing the same trends. Certainly, other types of injuries happen too, including significant cuts or lacerations, broken bones in arms or legs, broken ribs, and much more. I'm going to save that stuff for another time in another video and focus today on head injuries. Thankfully, fatality is quite uncommon from scooters. However, devastating injuries, especially very severe head injuries, needing brain surgery, causing unfixable concussions, damage, and much more are happening way too often. Electric scooter accidents can happen even to the most responsible people. However, there are definitely behaviors that raise the likelihood of injury or raise the severity when injuries happen. First, riding at night. Riding while intoxicated with alcohol, marijuana, or something else. Using the scooter in ways it's not supposed to be. For example, riding with another person, like a child, on the scooter at the same time. Not protecting your head. And not protecting your head properly, riding too fast for the environment that you're in, not following traffic laws and expectations. These are just some of the behaviors that result in injuries when they don't have to, or worse injuries when injuries happen. An interesting study from the Journal of Accident Analysis and Prevention shed some light here. They used simulators to simulate 180 scooter pothole crashes. They found that when the pothole or curb, for example, was greater than half the radius of the tires on the scooter, the rate of accident or falls increased dramatically. They also found that slower speeds resulted in fewer crashes. No surprise there. You should know, the force the head hits the ground with was 13.2 kilonewtons on average, which is important because this is more than the force needed to break a human skull. When the scooter strikes a fixed object like a curb, the scooter is stopped abruptly. It doesn't jump the curb like a bicycle would. The rider could hold on to the scooter, but physics are going to try and flip the scooter forward, and the rider too, slamming their head directly into the ground. Or if the rider lets go, then as the scooter flips forward, it's going to eject the person into the air. Their simulations showed all of this and were confirmed by a different research team who was also conducting simulations. You may be thinking that with a bicycle helmet, like this one, that you'll be protected, but even with a helmet, up to 85% of the simulations resulted in forces that were still severe enough to break the skull or cause brain bleeding. How can you protect your head? Many people are unaware that standard bicycle helmets, in the United States at least, are tested by dropping them onto an anvil at speeds of 20 feet per second. That converts to 13.6 miles per hour or 21.8 kilometers per hour. This is according to the Consumer Product Safety Commission website. They're put through other tests to check the straps, check for rotational impacts and things like that. But relevant to this issue, that speed is just not enough to simulate an electric scooter. Lime scooters, for example, are typically capped between 15 and 17 miles per hour or 24 and 27 kilometers per hour. That exceeds the testing speeds that these standard helmets have been put through. Even helmets like this one from Razer, which looks like it would protect your child or loved one from motorized vehicle speeds, has only been certified by the CPSC, which typically only checks up to 15 miles per hour. A dirt bike, electric bicycle, and a Lime scooter will exceed that speed routinely. This one cost us around $70 from Walmart a while back. Compare that to this helmet, which we got several years ago, also from Walmart, around $30 at the time. This is rated by the CPSC, but specifically CPSC 16 CFR 1203. And that rating tests this helmet up to 13.8 miles per hour. So about only 1 extra mile per hour between these two. I was very disappointed to discover that. It is possible that these helmets, like this one, could protect at much higher speeds, but it's not been proven, or at least not shared with the public. This helmet, which we got at a local motorsports store, is the Z1R Rise series helmet, and it cost us about $100 at the time. This one is ECE 22.05 certified, which is a European certification. And that one tests up to 16.7 miles per hour. So it's slightly better than the other ones, but just not good enough really to simulate a crash on a motorized or electric vehicle. There is a Dutch certification, NTA-8776, and that increases the intensity of the testing. And I've found it difficult to find an exact speed rating, but many websites are listing that this particular e-bike certification tests at speeds up to 28 miles per hour or 45 kilometers per hour. If you buy your own electric scooter or e-scooter, you can get them to go faster than that rating. For example, this scooter is available on Walmart's website as of November 17th, 2025, and lists a 25 mile per hour spec. So if you're riding this scooter at that speed and you go downhill, it's conceivable you may accelerate just a little bit beyond that helmet. So if you get your own scooter, know the speed and consider getting a motorcycle helmet or investigating the ratings more carefully to make sure that your helmet will protect you. Up until now, I've been emphasizing the speed a person is moving. There is another equally important issue during crashes. The forces applied to the head and brain that are rotational or different angles are also incredibly important. Some researchers suggest that these rotational forces may be more impactful than the overall straight line speed in determining the severity of traumatic brain injury or concussion. This is where MIPS technology, or multi-directional impact protection system, comes in. MIPS within a helmet helps minimize the rotational force and other angles of force upon your brain. It's incredibly helpful at minimizing the severity of traumatic brain injury or concussion when accidents actually happen. I highly recommend that you look for helmets with MIPS technology as well as the NTA certification that I mentioned before. They are both well worth the investment. What do we use in our family? Before I share the helmets that we use to protect ourselves, if you have watched this far and I taught you something that could save you or someone you care about from serious harm or injury, please consider subscribing to my channel. Also, if you have a helmet that you really like that meets a different certification or these, drop it in the comments, share it with the public. And remember, stick around to the very end where I will have a downloadable summary of all of this, as well as a shopping guide that breaks down the different ratings that I'm aware of and the speeds that they test for. So I've already shown you what my kids use for non-motorized, non-electric activities, but when it comes to electric vehicles, our family really likes the Unit 1 line of helmets. I have two of them here to show you. This is called the Unit 1 Faro helmet, F-A-R-O. And this helmet is not an e-bike certified helmet, but it's very comfortable, lightweight. You can see it has brake lights and a front headlight. It has turn signals. It can detect if I'm in an accident and send my wife an alert, as well as my location, so that I really like this helmet quite a bit. It's comfortable to wear, and I've worn it quite a lot, especially on regular human-powered bicycles and scooters. But when it comes to electric vehicles, I use this one. This is the Unit 1. This is the Unit 1 Aura helmet. The Aura is an e-bike certified NTA-8776 certified helmet. It has all those same features in terms of brake light, turn signals, front headlight, location tracking, so it can send my wife an alert if I get in an accident. But it's just intended for much higher impacts. And so it'll keep me safe. I take this with me on trips, pack it in my suitcase because it's light, even carry-on bags. It can pack in there. And then when I get to my location, I have every confidence that I can safely use the rideshare programs that they have. So I highly recommend these, but I recognize this is an expensive helmet. It's almost $230, which is definitely a luxury that I'm fortunate enough to be able to have, and maybe that doesn't fit in your budget. You should know that you can get cheaper e-bike certified helmets. Again, the NTA certification. You can get them for your children and yourself. I will link some of them in the notes. I don't personally own them, but if they have that certification, I would trust them. The big key is to make sure that you have a great helmet, sized properly, used correctly, and is proven to protect you at the speeds and during the activities that you are going to be doing and using it for. Electric scooters are incredibly helpful and fun. We just need to use them safely. Many factors are in your control. Don't ride unless you're sober. Keep your speed under control. Most e-scooters are not designed for tandem rides. Stick to daylight and good weather riding as much as possible. Find your local laws and ordinances and stay in step with them. And finally, get yourself a helmet rated for e-bike use with the NTA 8776 certification if you're going to use it on an electric scooter. If you're going to go faster than 28 miles per hour or 45 kilometers per hour, consider looking for something even more rigorously tested. Thank you for watching, and as always, smart health makes for smarter living.